You can. All right, you guys are in for a treat. We have what do I want to say about Carl?
Sergeant Carl.
Sergeant Carl.
Sergeant Carl.
This is Sergeant Carl.
Awesome.
He is the most interesting person in the world. No joke. He has stories upon stories. I've shot guns with him. I've been his roommate multiple times. And he knows how to real estate. Is that like the intro? You know real estate?
I know how to real estate.
And he drinks too much energy drinks.
But I balance it with core power.
I don't know how to click that to you.
Hey, Ritz, can you hear me on here?
Oh, wait, here's one more.
Is it this one?
I'm turning this one on.
Army helmet today. The video is wild. I'm trying to figure out like.
Oh, you know what? We can't hear him because I turned off this. Let's see.
Sorry, Ritz, hang on.
That's what yes.
All right, Ritz, we're trying again. Can you hear us?
Yep, it's working.
Yes. Magandang umanga, my friend. Oh,
Well, like sound, so you can't get sound on that.
how do I unmute that?
Volume.
Right
What
there.
do you want to do?
Hey, Ritz, can you like hear me clear my throat? That, like, is it really sensitive?
Probably when you bolt.
Yeah.
Nope.
No? Okay. Turn it back down. Okay, everybody. Whoa. What a start to the day. What is our class about? It's about, just kidding. It's about lead generation, right? I like to do things a smidge different, and I hate where this is at. Sorry, maybe I'll just pinch it. How does that sound? There. It's not my neck anymore. I want to meet everybody just so we can have some fun. Some of you I know, but for everybody else, let's say hey. Start with you, my man. What's your name?
D'Angelo.
D'Angelo. D'Angelo, how long have you been in real estate?
Today.
That's what I'm talking about. You have a license already, or I passed my test? You started school and the whole kit and caboodle. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Good. Thanks for being here. Pachich.
Have my license for like 3 weeks, maybe.
That's awesome, dude. I love that I made it in.
In real estate for a couple of years, maybe.
Yeah, you've been moving a lot of stuff. It's awesome.
My name's Ivan. I've been in real estate since April, so 5 months.
Yeah. Welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you. Faye. F-A-E? What? Isn't there like a music thing with that? What's that music place called? It's like orange. I don't know. It's in the mall. It's in the mall, the music place. Do I need a microphone too? You okay? Okay.
I'm Trey.
Hey, Trey. Good job, dude. Yes. All right, straight behind you. Welcome. That's awesome. Great. Good.
Matt, I've my license for about a month, but I've been in real estate for about 2 years.
That's investing. Oh, it's real stuff. Okay. Cool. I'm excited. This is good. This is like a fun group then. So we're going to start from basics. I'm actually glad we just did this because I was about to like do this, one of my favorite exercises, but I don't think it's going to apply well today. So we'll go to a different route and then we'll just get rolling. When we talk about lead generation, I struggle with trying to basically say, can it fit in a box, right? You can't fit lead generation into a box. I've been doing real estate. I've had my license for almost 8 years. And I have, before that, I worked at a company called RedX. Anybody know what RedX is? Real Estate Data Exchange. They provide leads, prospecting software, so you can cold call sellers that didn't sell their house. They call them expired. It's for sale by owners, things like that, right? I spent about 2 years there. I was about a year in, and I'm like, I am on the wrong end of this phone call, Diego. Right? Wait, D'Angelo. See, it's called you Diego, just straight to your face like that. That was wild. D'Angelo, got it. And I'm like, why am I making like 100 and something bucks a sale? And I'm teaching people how to make 10 grand a pop. Like, this is insane. So I went and got my license. And you guys know what it's like starting out. You know what it's like to feel that stress where you're like, how the heck do I just find some deal? What do I do here? And then at that time, I had 2 kids. How do I provide for my family? I'm like, frick. So I kept my full-time job, but I studied enough in real estate classes that I knew there's no shortcut to the hours you have to put in real estate to lead generate. So what are my options? Quit my job, go full-time, or treat it full-time and just work 2 full-time jobs. I thought that one sounded better. So I just worked like a dog and I just went for it. My first year I did 12 transactions, which was awesome. I had a partner at the time. They helped me get my license and train me. I was not here at KW Westfield. I was at a local office in American Fork. And as I started to do these transactions, that stressed me out even more because we were on a 70-30 split. You might be like, you got to keep 70%. No, other way. It was wild. After 6 transactions, I'm like, why in the world have I brought 6 of my personal people into this? And all I learned was you just have to fill out paperwork and like understand and be social, right? Away you go. Our partnership separated. They're still dear friends. And I decided after a year of being with my license and at RedX, doing both, to really make the jump and go full-time. I said, well, I want to learn the next phase. And that's if there's anything you could take away, just write down for yourself, I will be a master of education through my career in real estate. That's it. There is endless things. And when Cameron says I'm the most interesting person he's met, it's only because I love to learn and dabble in areas. I do not stop in my growth as an agent. I want to know it all. I want to understand it. So I went and joined property management. I spent 2 years in that property management role. Well, year and a half. 2 years, yeah. Because I've been here about 5. Now the timeline's adding up in my head. For 2 years, I did sales and property management, started to run a crew, and had a blast. It was after my first year had finished up, and I had okay splits in that office. But I remember like doing the math, and I was like, man, between running the office transactions for them, but also my own stuff, I was like, I was managing 120 doors, residential. We had 55 what we call TICs. TICs are tenants in common. So those are large warehouse, giant commercial buildings that have anywhere from 5 to 30 owners. Everybody owns a percentage based on the cash they put in, right? And on top of it, I sold 30 transactions. And I was like, this is sweet. But it was kind of weird because I didn't feel like I was always that busy. I I was busy, but I wasn't that busy. So then I stumbled into KW Westfield and was like, And here's a fun thing. And I don't say this to be like, wow, I'm so cool. But I had this mentor, and he's the president of RedX. He's the one that said, hey, you need to go make a jump, get your license. Hey, it's time. You should go make a jump. You should go full time. I think you're ready. He's always been my cheerleader. The guy's a dear friend, and I support him to the end. Well, he's talking to my brother at the time. Ironically, my older brother had a job at RedX, and I didn't like know that. It's just kind of funny because like my brother had a job there, and he had just gotten a job, but then like I interviewed with sales team and like got a job on the sales force. Was like, wait, we're at the same company, and it was a blast. He's 5.5 years older than me, so we didn't like grow up close doing a lot of stuff because there was just such a difference in our age. But we had a blast for those 2 years working together. So at that time, my brother had climbed the ladder, and he was a vice president at RedX. So he's meeting with my dear friend, and he goes, I don't think your brother's ever gonna like leave this mom and pop shop that he's at because he loves being a big fish in a small pond. But I don't think he'll ever handle, because he'll always just be a tiny fish in a giant pond if he went to like a Keller Williams. That wasn't rude. It was honest. In the office where I was at, I made like 120 grand one year, and they like freaked out about it. They were like, look how much money this guy made. I'm like, what? It's like, this is insane. They're like, this guy, there's like 4 agents in that office, right? Like, it was cool. I said, hey, challenge accepted. What's the biggest brokerage in the nation? It's Keller Williams. So can I make my mark inside Keller Williams? Can I go for it? It's been a blast getting that point, hanging out, being able to text and work with. So I spend most of my time selling some real estate and doing some stuff here. And then I spent the other part of my time, I work for, you guys heard of the word KWRI now? You know what that word means? That's headquarters. So that's out of Austin, Texas. That's like where everything runs out of there. Daddy Gary, you know Daddy Gary? You're like, no way. I'm like, you wait till you meet him. Gary Keller, right? Founded Keller Williams, created it. And just straight up raw dogged it, guys. He's just grown this thing himself to like the largest company in the world. And still runs the helm. Even though he keeps putting CEOs in place and stuff, the guy's still, he's intense and he's awesome. And you learn a lot from someone that thinks like that. And that's a little bit about me. That's what I do. This year, I made a goal that I was going to try to sell less transactions and more GCI. GCI, everybody know that one? Gross commission income. GCI. So I made an objective and I said, let's see if I can do it. It's a down market. I think right now I'm not even at 20 transactions this year, but I'm pretty close to 300,000 in income, which is what I was trying to figure out. How do I do that? Okay. So let's go down that path, shall we? On my drive here, while I'm late, I start off my morning, very simple routine. First thing I do is open Facebook. Why do I open Facebook? Then you're like, boomers, dude, we don't use Facebook anymore, guy. Why did I open Facebook? Close. I'm just having fun throwing out a guess. I don't know, it's messed up to be like, say up for failure, to be like, just guess what I'm thinking. Birthdays. Yeah, there's straight up addiction. Birthdays. I trained my Facebook to know that I want to see it every single morning. Literally wake up, notifications, so-and-so's birthday today. And what did I learn? Call them or text them. 90% of people do what? Happy birthday. You know, you just like get on that thing and you're like, happy birthday. Facebook made it too easy now. You can literally like type it in that spot and it auto-populates 3 birthday emojis. Is that personable? You guys got a lot of Facebook friends? Honestly, anybody? Like over 1,000. Yeah? Dang. Yeah, you're nodding your head. Thank you. Your birthday, all right? Is it kind of a dread at the end of the day when you've got to go read 100 people that posted happy birthday and you feel a little obligated to give them a little thumbs up on each one of them? You're like, gosh, dude, here we go. And every once in a while, I'm like, well, there's a friend from 10 years ago. Hey, that's kind of cool that they saw that. Thanks, guys. Thanks. But how many people would text and personally reach out to me? So I just made that an objective. I reach out and I personally say, hey, happy birthday. If cash is heavy in my life and they're a decent friend, let's get some food. Lunch is on me next week. I want to hang out. Pretty sweet, huh? Now that's step one. Step two, while I'm still getting ready for the day, I don't know. I hate this part about my life and I don't know how to fix it. Well, like I do, but I don't care to fix it. Okay. For some reason, it takes me like 40 minutes to an hour to get ready for the day. Time-wise, like if I'm in a rush, I can be showered. My hair is very easy to do. I can be out the door in 15 minutes. But it takes 40 minutes to an hour because I'm literally already on the phone. I'm like stuck. I'm like trying to leave, but I know like I can't talk to this person with the shower running because that's weird. I have a little bit of a filter. Sometimes I'm like, this person, I don't care. So I'm just gonna, what's that noise? I'm in the shower, dude. I'm like, wow, that's odd. But I start off my day already working. And working for me is really interesting. It's just friends. Excuse me. So far today, well, my phone's over there. There's probably 5 to 6 phone calls that have already happened between when I woke up and when I walked in these doors. As I walked into the doors of Keller Williams, I hung up my last call. Ammon Collins. Josh and I went to a mission together in Brazil. That's why we're like soul brothers, already connected. And you know, some of our common friends. Why did I call Ammon? I called Ammon just to say, I'm working on a plumbing project right now. I could probably use one of your plumbers to just check price and see if I'm doing right. And at the same time, I just want to have a decent conversation with you. See how you're doing today, man. Find out if you found a wife finally. Working on it. My core group of people, those that are closest to your inner circle, your top 5 people. Everybody heard this before? Top 5 people in your life help determine the success that you're going to have. He is one of those. By the time I call him, driving late to class already. I'm like, dude, I'm freaking late. He's already in his office. He's already working his jobs. He's already hustling. It's fuel. It's fuel. So here's another takeaway from today. If you got dead weight in your life, figure out how to cut it out. It's harsh. It's tough love. But if you got dead weight, you got to drop it. Otherwise, you're going to stay in that space. Again, if I hadn't left that small office, which I was happy at, I was great. They were awesome people. But if I wanted something more for myself. I don't want to chase fame and accolade, but I felt like I deserved it myself to do it for myself. Can you do this? Can you actually make this happen? Does anybody know what NIL means? College athletics, any sports fans here? No. That's my guy, dude. Thank you. Name, image, likeness. It's ruining college sports for the rest of time. So NIL, name, image, likeness, we created about 2.5 years ago now. I went to a lunch at BYU, same exact thing, just reached out and hit up some dude and was like, we should get some lunch together. Didn't graduate from BYU, but I had an intern at the time and she was running as a cross-country runner for BYU. So she made an intro for me. And all I said was, I want to come mentor and teach. It's free. If you lead from contribution, this is a big one-liner, okay? Lead from contribution, you'll always reap benefits. You will also get screwed many times. That's real. Water under the bridge. I promise you'll eat more than you starve. So I said, hey, I want to lead from contribution and I want to take care of this. Here we go. And they were like, oh, our athletes, da, 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 name, image, likeness. I'm like, I literally said the word, I was like, who's Neil? It's this NIL thing you guys are talking about. Like, it's not a person, it's a policy and it's a change. And now athletes can be compensated for who they are and da, da, da. And I went home and I remember at the beginning, I want to be a master of what? Always want to educate myself. I want to learn. I want to understand and study a new thing. So we studied it. I had a partner at the time. We started to hatch some ideas. Came up with this plan. Took it to BYU. Boom, we enrolled like 70 athletes in teaching them about how to have a referral license and understand real estate, the basics of investing, the basics of buying and selling. And now we're sitting there and I remember the day, and this guy named Gary, who's one of the athletic directors there, he goes, hey, I got an email from Ohio State and they want to know about what you guys are doing here. How the heck do they even know about us? Small world in this industry. They all talk. I said, okay, yeah. Hey, Purdue just reached out. Think you could do this over at Duke? And I'm like, all right, easy there, big dog. Let me see what I can do. Let me just go back to the brain factory. Let's figure this out. We sat back down. We hatched a plan. I contacted our competitor on Facebook. Did anybody do RD Academics, the real estate school? Cool. Yeah. I messaged them on Facebook. I want to buy your company. Would you sell it? No. It's like, oh, why are you asking that? I'm doing this thing where I'm educating athletes for free, giving them a free opportunity to earn what they call a referral license, and I'm giving them a chance to understand the basics of education and real estate. They said we should meet. So I went and met with the owners of RD. We struck a deal, and I white labeled it. I have my own portal inside of RD Academics. When you log in, you see Utah NIL. It's pretty sweet. Let's fast forward, because that was 2.5 years ago when we started this whole venture. We're at, I think as of today, we're at 205 universities are utilizing this. KWNIL is the Keller Williams internal product that we created and made a partnership with them. So we run what we call community. That's where I spend most of my time working with Keller Williams, and I spend most of my time working here, doing my own stuff here. Okay. 205 universities. We've had a couple thousand athletes come through our program to learn and understand. Very few of them ever got licensed, but we realized that's okay. That's not what we were after. We were after educating, teaching, and giving them an opportunity to expand their life. And just like that, changed the course that I was moving. So lead generation in and of itself, I don't know. It's such an interesting concept. From NIL itself, it feeds my business now. Tomorrow, everybody, we have that team meeting, the class. I'm using a lot of acronyms that we are familiar with here. Team meetings are a normal meeting that we meet every week as an office. I'm coming to be one of the panelists because we're having a discussion tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited about this. What are the ways that you cultivate business and relationships? And like, how do you change it? What do you do to make it different? And what do you do to make lifelong clients that will stay with you forever? Because that's what keeps feeding your business. So let's rewind. 2000, what was that, 16? 2016 when I got my license. Okay. First listing that I got, who's passed the test and is waiting for the license? No. Everybody said that they already just got it, right? So I'm like at church, and this guy, they're like talking about how they have to move. And I walked up and was like, dude, you guys have a real estate agent? They're like, no. I said, I'm a real estate. Well, I said, well, correction, I don't want to get fined. I am getting my real estate license. I passed my test and I'm waiting for my license to arrive. Do you think when it comes, I can sell your guys' house? Sure. What does that mean? I said, I don't know. But don't worry. I'll call my partner. She'll come over. She's been doing this for like 20 years, and I'll have her explain it to you. They were like, okay. It was great. I picked up my first listing just like that. And I learned something very valuable at that listing. I was doing what I normally thought was just a part of my life. Contribution leads to reward. So I was like, hey, we really need to work on the front presentation. Like, we should like make this look a little nice and like good. It was springtime. So I'm going to go get some pansies and some local flowers at the shop, and Maybe we should put some in here and, make it look nice for photos and stuff. It's 11 o'clock at night, photos are the next morning, and I'm there planting flowers. Friends come by in the neighborhood. What are you guys doing? They're like, Carl's our real estate agent. They're like, when you're planting flowers tonight? I'm like, well, yeah, we got to photos are tomorrow. We can't not have these guys looking good and healthy. Huh. Hey, we're thinking about selling our house in a few months. You want to sell ours? I was like, sure. Let me come look at your house. How does it look? Hey, your trees are covering everything. Why don't I'll come over tomorrow while we're doing photos here and I'll cut up your trees for you and I'll just trim them all up and clean them up. And they're like, that's amazing. Cleaned up all their trees, sold their house. What did I get from that? 2 other friends that saw that I was doing things and they're like, hey, do you want to come help me? Yeah, that sounds like fun. And just like that, that's how I started to grow my transactions. Then there was a time where I was getting a little slow. Market was a little uneasy, shifty. And I went, wait, this is crazy. Everybody has to winterize their sprinklers. Did you know that's coming up? The real thing. So for a few years, because I had a lot of more free time back then, I'd contact all these people on my list and I would say, it's time to winterize your sprinklers. I will come to your house and do it for free. And I made a list and I would just drive around and go to each one of my people. And I would have 20 to 30-minute conversations with these people in my SOI, sphere of influence, remember that word, in my SOI. And I was teaching them about how to maintain and take care of their greatest asset. After that, I did gutter cleaning, drove around and cleaned people's gutters. It was free. Then I started to make it funny because Homie came out and everybody's like, Homie's so amazing. And I was like, cool. And I'm like, this lady came, she's like, I hear you're doing gutters. I was like, yeah. You just have to, and I was being super sarcastic and funny, but I was like, you just have to make a bond and a promise that you will never sell with Homie in your life if I come clean your gutters for free. This lady literally called me back. She's like, we don't know if that's what we're going to do maybe later in the future. And we don't want to lose that opportunity. And I was like, sorry, then I can't clean your gutters. It was like my highlight. Just straight up, just was like, this is insane. I loved it. I loved everything about it. So I did gutter cleaning. I've done, I've dug up streets. We built sidewalks. Today I'm dressed in jeans because I've got my boots and everything in the car. I'm going to dig up a septic tank literally after this up in Timber Lakes. It's a project I'll be working on for 6 months now. At the end of this transaction, this house, it's a mess. It's a long story. We won't get into it. But once I complete this job, probably in another 6 months, finally get to sell this for this client and get them out of the stick that they're in, I'm going to charge them at least 50 grand. Why not? They've basically had a free contractor this entire time. So time for me to eat, And that's what I do. Cruise around and I find the thing that's personal to someone. And the reason I did that is the same reason we launched our NIL thing. This was fascinating. In NIL, we knew we needed a mass amount of capital to get this business from just a couple universities here all the way out to all these universities nationwide. And it was going to cost a lot. And I was like, okay, what do we do here? So I hit up the super rich investor out of Austin, Texas. I was like, dude, you should invest. This is a great idea. He's like, this looks like a wild idea. I don't know if this looks kind of crazy. And I was like, I know. We talked. He's all about numbers, right? When you're moving millions of dollars, you just think about numbers. Until one thing, he had a kid going to BYU. He came to a football game there. I had made so many connections and friends from leading with contribution that on that specific day, I had sideline passes for this guy. And when we got there, he had his teenage son with him. And I said, dude, your teenage son, does he have a pair of Jordans? He has not on top. You got to have Jordans, right? Can't be going to a game just wearing sneakers. He was like, I don't think he has any shoes like that. He's just wearing like his jogging shoes. And I said, I'll bring a pair. Blue and white Jordans, super chill. Put them down on the ground, let this kid put them on. This kid was jumping for joy. They were way too big for him, so he walked like a duck. His dad made fun of it. so he didn't crease my toes. And when he put them on, he goes, "Thank you so much. This is the nicest gift anybody's ever done for me." And I went, "Thought you were just borrowing them. Like, it's like $200 shoes." Like, wait. I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I lost a pair of shoes, just like that. They were just, he just kept them. There was no getting them back. I thought he was going to wear them. And then, like, anyways, it was months later when I was talking with that dad, and he was at the Silicon Slopes, and he was discussing his next investments. And he said in front of a friend that he didn't know was my friend, "I'm investing in this new company called NIL Real Estate." And he said, "The reason I'm investing is the guy that's running that company. Let me tell you about what he does." And he explained the joy on his kid's face when he got a pair of shoes on a sideline, hanging out at a game with a bunch of college kids. And he's worshiped these shoes forever. When I went and visited this dude in Austin, Texas, he was like, "Do you want to come to my house and we can do the lazy river and just chill, just relax a little bit? I'll get some people there to cook for us." I was like, "What?" It was like insane. Went to his office. He's like, "This guy," I accidentally called him his secretary. I was like, "Do you work for him?" He was like, "What the freak?" My guy started laughing. He's like, his last exit of investment that he just did was 900 million. And you just asked him if he worked for me. It's like, it's my favorite. It's the best. I was like, "Dang it. My bad, dude." And then I called his Maserati a BMW. It's like, "That's a nice Beamer, dude." He's like, "That is a Maserati." And I was like, "I'm out. All right. If we want to talk about houses, I got you. Cannot continue this conversation about anything else. We should call it good." So the point of him being in a lazy river and we're floating in his house and we're driving all these things, do you think he could afford a pair of shoes? Yes. But why is it that those shoes, and also, do you think he could honestly buy a sideline pass? For reals. Guy's got cheddar. He can get anywhere he wants. So I learned something really important. If you want to learn and work in the high-end community, that's like a goal of yours, you need to find a way to provide something that money does not. It is not about money because, again, money is there. Closing gifts. You can throw whatever you want money-wise at a closing gift. It will not mean a thing to them because they have endless amounts of it. But if you provide something that is different for them, that means something to them, that's when you win. Excuse me. I closed a 4.6 this year up in Heber. What do you get somebody that just spent 4.6 million in cash on a house?
Houses or scour social media to figure out what's important to them.
Seriously. This isn't even like, they're not even living here. This is just a house for them to come visit twice a year. Traeger doesn't matter. They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Do I buy him a car?" Nah, that's crazy. Right? So what do you do? Anyways, let me pull up a picture of it. So my favorite thing I did so far, it took a lot of effort. We were walking, they're also from Texas, and they said, "Hey, do you know what we love more than anything?" This wife, and I learned about her, she has sweet tea every morning. And they said, "We're going to come visit in 3 weeks this house that we bought." There it is. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that well? Okay. She likes to put mint. So by the time they got there, and I texted with her husband to ask, I went to their house, picked up a couple things. I installed the drip line system to go into this bucket, drilled holes through the bucket so that it slow drips water very, very slowly over all days. So it just keeps the soil kind of moist, right? I planted 4 different clumps of mint and made sure to have the brands that she likes because her husband hunted it down for me. So when she got there from Texas, excited to have her sweet tea, and her first thoughts were, Do I need to go to the store and buy fresh mint so I can always put my fresh mint in my tea? Her husband's like, no, it's okay. We got some. So she arrives at her place that she's going to visit every once in a while. There's an automatic waterer that goes to this, so they don't have to think about it or worry about it. It's in a nice location that has equal shade, but also sun, and it's aesthetically pleasing. There you go. It meant the world to them. Got a bunch of photos of it. Thank you so much. Having your mint again this morning. Thank you. That right there is what goes different, and it's above and beyond. And in the end, that cost me 100-something bucks, right? Like I bought the bucket at a farm store and sprinkler parts were like literally $15. The mint was $3 a plant. I bought a bag of potting soil and a container to put it in. It was really super cheap, honestly. But I planted it, took care of it, made sure it was growing, and then brought it over so it was nice and healthy. There you go. That's your secret. That's your way to do your lead generation. It's a little snippet because we're going to talk about that tomorrow in that class, right? And I'm excited to hear what the other panelists have to say. So, what do you think? What are you going to do for lead generation now? What is your main objective, and and let's go that route. What are the questions that you have about how to lead generate, or what you're afraid of doing? Hit me.
Always comes up for me is that when people of us are a little bit younger, it's like really hard to get, like if I'm cold calling somebody, I'm trying to come off as like, hey, I'm trying to get to know you, build rapport, and then after that it comes off as like, you're like 25, you're 19 or whatever, like what do you want?
I love that.
And so I'm trying to bridge that gap of like, yes, I am a salesperson, but I'm also just trying to like create relationships and keep you in a group and keep you in a circle. Like, how do you get people to take you more seriously when it comes to that?
Man, that's a great question. Huge. Are you in the productivity coaching program? Okay. Before I went and did the BYU thing, that's what my job was. I was the Cameron for a while here. That time, and I only bring up the context of this because we had to really work on this. Do you guys remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when it was like 30 offers per house? It was a bad idea to help run the office productivity coaching program while we were in the middle of that, because we were negotiating and fighting every single deal. It's a whole nother level of stress, Faye. We're very grateful that the market's soft because you can learn in a free space. So I had to figure out, how do I take this and show them that I am still of value. I'm 19 years old. I'm 25 years old, and I've never done a transaction. But trust me, give me your $1 million or your $500,000 and trust me, I got you. It's hard. Leverage the people around you and your team. Very simple phone call. Alex, hey, how's it going, dude?
It's going great. How are you?
Doing wonderful. My name's Carl. I'm with Keller Williams. I'm calling you to talk about the fact that you wanted to buy a home. I got a lead here that says you're interested in it, right? You're calling these leads that our office has that are off these listings, right? Yeah, okay. I want you to rebuttal and tell me literally your objections, and I'm going to be you. So I'd love to meet with you and talk about getting a home. Are we talking to buyer or seller? You pick. Okay. Let's meet. I want to hang out and chat. I want to chat with you about what it is to buy in this market. What's going on?
That's awesome. It's great to meet you. I'm so excited for your opportunity. I need to go talk to my husband.
Oh, that's great. Sorry, I didn't realize that you had somebody else in the decision. What I'd love to do is, can I text this number? And then can I also have your husband's number? And let's just make a group party. And I'm going to text with all three of you, and let's just get something set up. Boom.
So what if they ghost you?
Well, you've already lost. So harass the shiz out of them. This is like this awkward moment where that light bulb for me. I already lost. They're already ghosting me. Wait a minute. And when I say harass, every day is not cool. Like you will get blocked. But every once in a while, check it in. Again, I have lost more transactions in my life than I care to count. It's a rough market. It's a hard thing to be in, but you can just show that you care. Next, Say we're talking. Okay, so this is our process, and I want to lay this out, and I'm going to take you guys out. Da, 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 da. You're going to ask me, what's your experience? Why should I
Oh.
use you?
What's your experience? How long have you been in the industry?
Good news for you guys. I'm what they call fresh. Just got my license. I'm super excited about this. Wait, I know you guys are probably thinking, whoa, we really about to hire a guy that's brand new, that's never done anything? I think you should. And let me tell you why. All of my time and attention is devoted to you right now and taking care of your transaction. I don't have a huge pile of things that I'm working on, and I'm going to just work on taking care of you and giving you the highest level of service and quality that you get. Legalities wise and negotiating tactics wise, I am part of a team. I'm not just running around on my own trying to figure this out. I'm part of a team of 60 agents. And our trainers and the people that are running our team, I can text them and call them at this exact second, and they will answer the phone and walk me through every step of every scenario. They have been in the industry for decades. So I'm not here on my own. You are actually, for still just hiring one person, you're getting an entire team of mind power and negotiation power. Boom. And right there. You remember that key word that I said to the people when I was doing my first listing? I don't know. But I got this lady, she knows, so I'll have her come over. We'll figure that out. It is very important in your lead generation and you're starting out that you use those words all the time. I don't know. But I will find out. Let me go learn it. Let me go study it. Let me get a hold of my leaders, and I'll come right back to you and give you good answers. Okay? We're in this to learn together. You don't ever want to start off by saying, and I don't know why I did that. Everybody does that. Okay? What's your like least favorite sport ever? Cricket. You ever played cricket in your life? You ever watched it? Done anything with it? Okay. Let's say that I'm a badminton fanatic. And I'm just like, dude, you know, and I was doing this and the birdie, you know, and you would say, yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Why do you do that? This is real. We all do it. We agree with things we don't even understand that they're saying because we don't want to feel like we don't know. You know, like when Gary Keller said, and you're like, uh-huh. But if you're honest, you'd say, I don't know who Gary Keller is. Oh, rewind to tell you about Gary Keller. Gary Keller started the company, blah, 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 right? I started to do that early on in my career because I got burned a couple of times because I would try to speak. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm saying something. And then I look like a liar. And that is worse than not knowing. A liar is, you can't repair that. So I just started to lead with, hey, to be honest with you, I don't know anything about badminton. So sounds like a great story. Explain a little bit about badminton to me because I like learning. Or sometimes I literally stop rich people. Forgive me. I'm a college dropout. Really good real estate agent. You hired the best. I don't know what that word means. You just said a word. I'm not familiar with it. I've done that more times than I can count. And then they're like, oh, it's this. And I'm like, thank you. Now the story makes context in my head. That never comes off to somebody like I'm dumb. They really think at that moment that you're listening to me and you stopped because you hit a word. And I go, man, this could really change the context of the story. I hope this word means this. If I'm obviously on the phone with somebody, I can just literally have my computer or my phone. I can be like, what the heck is this? That's easy. But if I'm talking to them, I have no problem asking at any point in the conversation to stop, break it down, explain it again so that I understand it. Next question. That was freaking awesome. Faye, what do you got? No questions? You're just ready to slay today? Get a phone. Just kidding. What else do we have? How are you contacting? I'm gonna go plug this in because it needs charge. How are you, what are you doing to contact those leads?
Calls,
Okay,
they won't answer,
great.
text, if I text,
Okay,
I don't have, address.
do you have names? Hmm. Hmm. What I would like to say is, this is gonna be a tricky one, okay? Because you guys ever heard of TCPA? TCPA is the law that prohibits, it's the Trade Consumer Protection Act. It's the law that basically means you should not be getting just random sales calls. You should have opted into them. And if you are just getting random sales calls, and it's a legit company, you could turn them in to this government agency and they will destroy them so bad. Dean is our broker here, Dean Crandall. It's like his number one thing that he's worried about. When am I going to get a TCPA violation and get sued for days? Because if you just start cold calling, like just straight up reaching out to people, and they're not a fan of you, they don't like that you're harassing them, they can say, that's Keller Williams. Isn't that the biggest real estate company in the nation right now? And I bet they'll settle a $70,000 lawsuit real quick. So you get fined pretty bad. That context. You need to figure out how you got this lead. If this lead was opted in and they agreed to be contacted, you're welcome to call and text. If you can text them, this is the best part. You need to do some homework. If you want leads to convert, you've got to know what you're dealing with. I get a lot of text messages. Are you guys new in it? Like, have you been in it long enough to already get health insurance text messages yet? Good. Yeah, they never stop. Okay. I hate them. You've got to be able to send something that's personal enough that they understand it. So if I don't know the person's address, but I have a name and I have a phone number, right? A couple tools I can use. Facebook or Instagram. I can find their social media. I can see a little bit about them. Hope I'm getting the right person, right? John Smith is a real bad name, but see if you can find a John Smith that's trying to look at houses around here. Tax records. You can look up tax records, see if they own any assets and have properties. Wouldn't you love to know if you were calling a lead that came to you, if this is their 10th property they're buying or their first? Tax records can help you with that because you can see if they own assets. A lot of people do post on social media more than they care to post, so you can learn quite a bit about them. My favorite thing is, and we're going to go on a tangent on this. Knowledge is power, especially in negotiations. Anytime I'm entering negotiations, conversations, tactics, I take time through the night, that's why I don't sleep, to research and study who I'm going to interact with. I've gone as far to contact the Utah courts, and I filled out all the paperwork as a civilian to have full access to what they call exchange, which is all criminal and everything about everybody. You ever been in a lawsuit? You ever gone to court? Ever been served papers? Ever gotten a speeding ticket? It is in there as long as it's been in Utah. It's wild. So somebody's like, hey, yeah, I went through a divorce. I go and I pull up and read their divorce. It's a little, I don't tell them that I read their divorce because obviously that's really rude, but I read their divorce and actually read. Many times I have seen that they're supposed to jointly decide on the sale of the price of the home and everything like that. Power. I come back to that conversation and I say, hey, do we need to have anybody else in this? Like, oh yeah. Now, if they lie to me, we're out because I don't want to get sued. Okay. There's a thing called Forewarn, Forewarn. Forewarn is provided by UCAR. That is our local board. So when you get your license, You're going to fill out all this paperwork. You become a member of UCAR, NAR, and you become a member of the MLS and all of that stuff. Okay. When you go to UCAR, they're going to say, do you want a forewarn subscription? Answer is yes. $66 for the year. Forewarn is ninja magic. 6 years ago, I was at the other brokerage. There's a really great guy, well known in the real estate community. He had some rentals in Salt Lake. He rented it to some people. He did not do a background check. And they had multiple felonies. And because he didn't do a full background check and he moved them in, they didn't pay. When he went to go serve him a notice to kick him out of his house, they pulled him into the house, shot him in the head, and hid him in the crawl space. Jumped in their cars and drove away, fled. So, yeah, it was wild. It was a mess. UCAR pays this money. They cover most of the subscription and pay for it themselves so that you have access to never be in a dangerous situation. I'm saying this to you, I'm targeting you because you don't want to go to a house alone at 19 as a female and meet some random stranger that's called you and said, I want to look at your listing and tour this with you privately. You're setting yourself up to get hurt. I don't even like to do that. I never like to go by myself. So I take their phone number and their information and I run it in Forewarn, and it pulls up some crazy crap. It's pretty sweet. So you could take any phone number, plug it into Forewarn from your. Now, let me clarify on this. Do not use Forewarn for marketing purposes. Understand? But this is a lead that you received, and at the same time you received the lead, you are verifying that this person is not a felon that's trying to set up a time to attack you. So, opportunity to use Forewarn. That was a nice, using like that little legal protection there. Sweet. Forewarn will do everything. They'll tell you about properties. It doesn't just cover Utah, it covers everywhere. I just use both. Like Forewarn's easy. Who doesn't have a wild criminal record? And I'm being serious. That is a deep dive when I'm dealing with real, like, intense transactions. Who's my developer? My guy, dude. We used to be a developer like Coder. Land. When you do the land deals, right? Okay. And I'm paraphrasing what I'm thinking you've been in, okay? Raw land, get some cash buyers because nobody wants to finance that crap. Pool up a bunch of money. They buy the raw land. They start to turn it in. They bring the utilities into it. So they start to go through this freaking forever process with the cities and the counties. It's horrendous. Okay. The people that are going to bring money that are offering this land to sell and all of that, I would always do a deep, deep dive on somebody like that. Because if I'm going to put money and time, if I'm going to put a year and a half into a project, like for reals, I want to know if this person's been sued by all of his business partners.
This is just your normal background checks.
Yeah, no, kind of.
When you go in there, you're just like, hey, I want.
Yeah, they're pretty vague about what you need it for. I just wrote on there real estate. I do real estate. I just want to know. You have to pay every month. Like that one's more expensive. It's like $45 a month I have to pay. And then every time I want to open a document, they charge me 50 cents, little buggers. But it's okay. Yeah. Forewarn again is really, really, really convenient. So does anybody have a relatively decently clean background? Who wants to be brave? You got me, dude? All right. If it shows up anything, don't worry, I won't tell anybody. 2 seconds. I'm going to have you tell me your phone number. What is that? 858-381-7251. See that phone number? Boop. Oh, you spell your name a little different than I thought. I thought it was D'Angelo, but you spell it D-A-N-G-E-L-O. And then your middle name is Donnell. You're 25 years old. You currently live at 2831 Saddle Rock Road in Eagle Mountain. Before that, Oh, you lived in San Diego. There you are. 11549 Windcrest Lane, apartment 234. Solid, isn't it? Clean record though. He looks good. So right here, just because he's clean, we'll show everything. All right. Boom. Criminal histories here would show up as yellow potentials. Now, these are not very accurate. Okay. But what I'm looking for, if I see a felony, very simple ones, possession with the intent to distribute. I don't need to know the details of what ended up happening with that or not. If I see a couple of those, I know that we're going to have a problem and that this is not a great tenant to put in the house or whatever have you. If down here in bankruptcies or liens and I see multiple bankruptcies, I know they ain't buying no freaking house. So that's a waste of my time. And I don't need to call them out and tell them that. I can just move on to the next thing. Okay. Other things in criminal infractions, aggravated assault is a very important thing to know, right? We want to know if a person's a hothead. Resisting arrest is definitely a good one to know, right? All these different tools for you to just look through. So this, again, $66, super easy. Yeah, that's great. But we can go through and I'll try to find some recent searches. I won't tell you the name because I don't want you guys to hear about that. That'd be terrible. Okay. This lady will leave the name out because I was working on this on a different project. Come on, just crank it. Here we go. Yeah. Exchange, EXCHANG. Okay, so I'm going to cover up this name right here. You see that where it says 68 criminal infractions? Okay, we know likey. We don't want to deal with this. So this is someone that came where they're talking about getting a home. And I'm seeing literally from this year, assault on a peace officer, a military member in uniform. But it says case type unavailable, disposition unavailable. So I don't know what ended up happening from this, but I know for some reason it was charged, right? May of 2024, aggravated assault, violation of protection order. Again, another May, assault on a peace officer. March of 2024, threat of violence. Yeah, it just keeps going. So you want to use tools that you can have access to help you. Now we're going to bring this full circle, my man. Why did we go that route? Because with that information and just getting information, I can try to convert my leads a little bit. If I see that somebody owns a home, I'm going to go next to the MLS. I'm going to go into the MLS and I'm going to do a deep search of the history of that address and see if the transaction was purchased by them when. If you can see that the transaction was purchased in the last 2 years, there's a really good chance that they are upside down in that house. Really good chance. So a text message to somebody that has inquired about your home and you follow up with, hey, if you guys are so-and-so and you guys are interested in having a conversation with me about if you guys need to sell your home, if I think you're the right people and you're selling a home, you might be a little tight on your margins. I've already ran an analysis of your property value. I can also help you get some resources if you're thinking about renting it so that you can acquire another home. Bam, little better. That to me is not a scam. I would respond to that if I had turned in a lead. I just get a voicemail that's like, hey, I'm just calling you because you called on the sign. Not interested. AI has created great voices. You want to know also this fun fact, D'Angelo. Almost called you Diego again, bro. If you want to stop AI robots, just do that over and over again on the phone. It processes that there's a sound, so it's trying to answer it, but it can't understand that I'm just making a vocal sound. It's amazing. You're just like calling. I'm just like hearing this, and I'm like, man, this could be a robot, but this is perfect. It could be a person. And I just go, and then it will go, oh, thank you, yes, and they'll like try to reply to it, and I'm like, Got you, stupid. Got him. If it's a human, they'll be like, I'm sorry, what? And I'll be like, sorry, cat came around the corner, scared the crap out of me. And they're like, thought you were a robot. Oh, it's amazing. You just answer and you're like, and just see if there's a reaction. If there's not a reaction and they try to continue some conversation, that is not a real person. It's awesome. Okay, does that help with your conversion there?
Writing stuff down.
Yeah, that's G.
So,
You use that to get just addresses to send thank you cards to people. It's a weird question, but
I think it says you're not supposed to use it for marketing purposes. Well, you did. Nobody's ever monitored me in freaking 4 years of having it, so I don't know. You're asking a hard question here, big dog.
okay.
Do I need to wink?
I get okay. I see. I see.
There's my wink. Yeah. 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 It's easy stuff. It's fun. You can find all sorts of stuff. The phone numbers too are very valid. They do a really good job. So you can also just search name, not just phone number, but it gets a little dicier. So let's do this.
You put the full one.
Yeah. So it's just, that's the alternative search, not just phone number. Make it easy. Who's had their phone number a long time? Matt, yeah, hit me. What's your, oh, okay, hold on. Here we go. Kyle, what's your last name? Larson. And then you're out of Utah. So I'm just doing Kyle Larson, Utah. I'm doing a search. See what we got. Ooh,
That's why
so many Larsons. Take a good look at you. I'm gonna guess that you are. I don't feel like you live all the way out in Cedar City. How old are you, Kyle?
you really want to know it. That's
No, I actually want to know. Oh, you live in Lehigh. 664? Okay. It was either that or I was going with the 54-year-old, bro. Just kidding.
the American one.
Yes.
Another Kyle Larson around.
Okay. So this is a fun one.
Got yellows?
You see how there's one right here? And then it says weaker results, and there's 31 of them. When I showed Kyle Larson before, look how many Kyle Larsons there are in Utah. So he is going to ping a ton. Oh, on like a ton on his potentials. But his potentials, as you know, let's find out
I
what.
got my license, no problem. So
2003, you got a ticket for following a vehicle too close?
heaven forbid I got a ticket
Yep,
20 years ago.
20 years ago. Not wild? That's it. Speeding tickets.
It's interesting that that shows up as yellow, right? So you can't just trust the colors. I guess is kind of our takeaway here. Like actually,
Well,
look
like
at it.
like
It's-
everybody's
even
gonna
though we
have.
citation, well,
This is literally one of the first times I've ever seen somebody. He crushed it, dude. You got a perfect record. Mine is not perfect. You deserve yellow, but again, if I were to go and look at these weaker ones, we just like they're different middle of names, different middle initials. You'll know how to filter those out yourself, right? Phone number wise, though, I've got 4 options here. 801-362-2674. That's the current. And your old one was 801-380-9195.
I've had this number
Since,
15 years probably.
yeah, 2009 you stopped using. So, yeah, it's pretty great. Usually the second number would produce somebody that's in their family that's got a number. So it's pretty accurate. It's really, really convenient. Ooh, you've had 4 properties. Let's go find out about them. The very first time that you sold a home was in Springville on 2021. The sale date was 2021. Is that when you got rid of it? That's awkward. What about, oh, then you've had an Eagle Mountain one? And you sold it to Jason? Then you sold a Lehigh one to Jeffrey Harrison? Oh, that would be nice. And then you, and your wife's name's Allison. Nice. Cool. So again, information is key. It's king of everything. Not the class that we're in. We're in lead generation, but
But
information.
that's helpful negotiating or just knowing how to talk to your leads.
Correct. You can like really, I get a thrill from deep diving into people's lives. It's a weird fetish, right? You could go on Facebook and see when people start to post happy birthday. You can find that one parent that's overzealous and makes a shout out to their 32-year-old baby, and all of a sudden get their month, the day, and the year now of their birth. And now I can go into a court record and take first and last name and a birthday, and I can generate anything. I can generate, yeah, any of it. Divorce history, settled for a credit card, anything that ever touched the courts. It's in there. So it's good, powerful stuff. Again, you don't ever want to be like, hi, I made that mistake one time. I was like, oh, I ran a background on you. You seem normal. And they're like, you did what? I'm like, I guess that does sound a little weird, doesn't it? So I don't ever say that, but you can learn a lot about a person. Okay, what else? Well, we did that good. Josh, anything? You ready?
Say, my question is, like, outside of friends and family,
Mhm.
what are other options as far as information is concerned? Right now, you
That's
gotta
great.
start with SOI.
Yeah.
If you wanna get into more of like business strategy, from a lead generation perspective, have you done like paid advertising?
I've tried it all. Yeah. All right. Let's break this down. Most effective, without question, is your personal sphere of influence. We know that, right? Your second most effective is door knocking. Highest return. The one after that is cold calling. And in cold calling, there are 5 different forms of it. Many, many ways. Then after that, it's throwing leads out, paying for advertising. Least amount of return. I paid for shopping carts at our grocery store in my city. Did it for the first year. It's really hard because you can't like say like this is from that, but I felt like it paid for itself because I had multiple people during the week messaging me pictures of it. I kind of hated it because all of my friends would put like bananas or the stupid, what's that horseshoe sausage thing? And they would like put it next to my picture and then literally send it to me. It was super inappropriate. And I'm like, you guys are messed up. I don't like this. Okay. But it was still funny because like it's a contact, like they're sending it to me and they're like, nah. And I'm like, thanks for seeing my ad though. I had people in my neighborhood that would be like, we saw you at Smith's. That was so cool. I did have a couple people call that were like, dude, I was at the store and I forgot that you did real estate and we came to visit our family. You might move back here. And to me, that was like, oh. But again, did I in any way have a stranger see my sign and be like, that looks like a nice dude? Like, I should call him to sell my house? No, never. I put ads up at BYU, football games, basketball games. Same thing. Some people would send pictures of it. Some people would be like, holy cow, I can't believe you're finally doing your dream. Never once did I get somebody that's like, you just look like a nice dude. So I just thought I'd call you off your sign because I went there. I was like, yeah, makes sense. So door knocking, I've done door knocking. you get some pretty decent connections.
You say door knocking, you're just going to a neighborhood, walk around, talk to people.
It is wild. One, go to the city, get a pass, pay for that. Get a marketing pass, sales pass, like little, very simple. Two, when you knock on the door, hey, just wondering if you're interested in learning about buying and selling, what your house could be worth, right? No? You got any neighbors you don't like? You want me to go sell their house or get rid of them? At least tell you the names, have so-and-so, you heard of anybody in the neighborhood? You know, we crack a joke. You do get a lot of people that are a little bothered that you're on the door, right? Yeah, it was great.
Already lost.
Already lost.
Already lost, so you have nothing to lose by.
Yeah, I think the best one was 2 weeks ago. I had my friends, they called me and they were like, dude, this guy came to our house and he was like, hey, I'm an investor. We're looking to purchase some homes. You know where this is going. I was like, They're like, oh, well, we're not selling our house. Well, I just didn't know if you were maybe selling your house, I'd buy it. They're like, oh, well, our house isn't like for sale right now, but like, if you're interested in buying in the area, like we have somebody to talk to. And he's like, oh yeah, well, maybe. And they're like, no, we have like guy in our neighborhood. He's like #1 real estate agent. He's like close friend of ours. If you're just literally out hustling, trying to find a house to buy, like he can help you and get, I'm actually a real estate agent. This is what I do. Like, shoot. I was like, that was funny to me, right? Most of the people you knock doors on, though, they do have an agent and they're interested in doing that. But you have a higher return because people want to know the values of their home. So that's what you offer as a service. I can run a comparative market analysis. When I taught the PC program, I always explain to people a very important feature. Master an area. Find a spot either near your home, wherever you want it to be, and make that your attack point. You work everywhere, right? But if you become an expert of a neighborhood, you don't need to waste time going and running comps. It's in here. That first neighborhood that I happened to live in, I got hit by some nasty lady. She was like, okay. She told one of my clients, literally, I don't know why you would use that guy. He hasn't been doing transactions very long. He's only been doing real estate for 2 years. He hasn't sold very many homes. You know, he sells 12, 20. He's not a very high-end agent. I've been doing real estate for 40 freaking years, and I'm the queen of this area, you know, the space. They were kind enough to bring that to me and be like, so rebuttal. I said, unlike that lady, what she's doing is obviously she's upset because I'm betting that she can pull up and see within a 12-block radius, I've sold 8 of these houses. So if you want me to tell you exactly what all the houses sold for, I don't have to print a sheet for you because I was the agent that negotiated those transactions. Trust me, I think I can list your house and I know exactly who the buyers are going to be. I know exactly what they're going to ask. And I know the exact dollar that you should get for your home. This is my area. And I'll tell them, now, if I was in downtown Salt Lake, she'd smoke me. I don't know downtown Salt Lake. I can look it up just like anybody else. But if you have a focus point and create that area, nobody can beat you in that area. You can generate business like that in that area. So that's an important fact. Cold calling, again, pretty decent, but there's a lot of robocallers now and there's a lot of stuff happening and you've got to have really thick skin and you've got to be in the game for the long hunt. Like that drains your soul, just sitting there, smile and dial, smile and dial. If you do want to master cold calling, you want to learn how to do it, I have a friend that you can mentor. His name is Kent. He is not in our brokerage. He's actually in a brokerage in Orem. It's called Jean Tanner, Jean Tanner's office. She's the queen of real estate around here. She's freaking sweet. Kent would be more than happy. We worked at Redix together. We did a lot of stuff, trainings together. I believe he is the nation's best prospector. Kent wakes up in the morning, puts on a shirt and tie, goes to his office, gets online, practices scripts, plugs in his headset and his super sophisticated software that he uses, all this stuff, and he sits there and triple line dials hundreds of people a day. And he just nukes it. You could literally ask him right now and he would, from memory, recite perfect scripts and he would be, he's got it. He made it his career. He laughs with me. Kent and I have done deals together, even though we're in different brokerages. because he's literally prospected on jobs and he gets the appointment, goes to the appointment. They're like, it's a little bit of a mess. We kind of got this flood underneath our house. We needed to get a plumber and construction stuff going. Big pause. Hire me, but you'll work with my partner. His name's Carl. We're not of the same brokerage, but he's a close friend. That kid's going to be the one that takes care of you for the next year while we figure out your house. And we've done it multiple times. But he calls me and he's like, it's a crappy one. I'm like, I got it. Oh yeah, I'm in. You know, I love those. And he just cranks out his appointments, does his thing. So if you ever want to meet with someone like that, literally, I've got him. He's great. He's met with tons of people. I've even brought him here to teach. He's a cool cat. And then moving up, your SOI. Your SOI is so unique because if you want to target your SOI and communicate with them, it really is just, what are you trying to do? Like, are you trying to hard plug, like you need to buy a home, or soft? And a great trick is, nobody's in it now. Everybody needs to go get some t-shirts about real estate, okay? That's your number one thing. You are a walking billboard. You do that for me? Wear some KW stuff. People know the name. It works. It strikes up conversations. It reminds the people in your immediate sphere, this is what you do. Does anybody go to the gym? Faithful gym goers? You don't have to be like buff, like Josh. T-shirts to the gym. Generated at least 5 to 6 transactions over my career. They get to know me. We're just hanging out. We're friends. You know, you like have that hour that you go, like you start making friends with random people that are there. You all see each other every day. And then all of a sudden you're like, what do you do again? You always wear those real estate stuff. Yeah, I do real estate. I'm like basically unemployed is what I tell people. And now we're laughing because they know I'm not going to sell them on the latest listing in house, right? Then they get going. Your next awesome thing too is open houses. And there's a literal class about open houses, so we'll leave it to that. But for lead generation, it's a phenomenal opportunity when you're starting out. Sign up for as many of those as you can. Agents will let you work open houses, especially as houses are sitting on the market for a long time. Find a cool listing that looks nice. Trick your SOI into thinking that you are successful. It works. You got an Instagram, you're going to slay. You just start scheduling open houses at $1 million listings. And you literally just take a video of walking into the front door and being like, got my open house today, hit me up. And everybody is literally so confused as how you're selling multi-million-dollar homes right off the bat. You're not, but that's okay. You're getting the experience and people are starting to trust. Social media is a beast because they have to believe that you are competent. You don't get the chance to be like, but look at my team. They just watch your social media. And if you're not doing anything, you are not competent in it. So it's kind of fun. But there's different ways I would call almost like, that's a social media effect, right? Just take a picture of some listings. We have new listings in our office, or as a team, you guys have those. You can post those on your social media, right? Just listed, great deal in this area. They don't need to know that it's not yours. Agents will know. I always laugh because I'll go look and I'll be like, nice, bro. It's a solid move there, right? But it's a great tactic to have. That's big. What time am I supposed to be done?
Oh, man.
Access to the turn
I don't have ideas.
they're always there. We've tried it all. It's been fun, but paying for advertising, Josh, I don't know, man. I've tried some wild ones though. There is one that I think is kind of very effective actually. I pay for sodas in a barbershop. It's right by my house. I get my hair cut like every week. I love those guys. They're super cool dudes. And they have this fridge there. And I was like, can I just put my sign laminated, like it looked nice, on your fridge? And then like once a month, once every other month, I go spend like $100 on a bunch of soda and just like leave all the cases in the back room for them. And they just stock the fridge. When they open the fridge door, like there's my little thing on it. And then that's fun. I get texts a lot from people in our neighborhood that are like, thanks for the drink, man. Usually I'm like, it's not free. You just drink that. That was a contract. Man, that's wild. It's funny. Just crack jokes. Have a good time with it. But there's different ways to do that. I've tried the key of what we'll talk about tomorrow in that team meeting is everything that I do somehow pertains to my profession of real estate. So no matter what it is, somehow I know if I just do it successfully and lead from contribution, it's going to always produce a lot of opportunity where I can benefit financially from it. You're picking probably one of the best careers I think that's out there, because there are very few careers in the world where just because you have a relationship with someone, they can give you $10,000 to $30,000 at some point for being your friend. Kind of wild to think of, isn't it? But like your neighbors. We delivered pumpkin bars last night to some of our neighbors in the neighborhood. Just normal thing to do as good neighbors, right? Those neighbors are worth $20,000 a piece to me. So one day I'm going to sell their house, even if they die. Like, I got it. It's crazy. And I don't do it, I guess, just because I know every person's a price tag to me, just becomes a part of your life. People will feel that authenticity, and your SOI just regenerates and regenerates and regenerates and regenerates, because they know. And I think that's the key that I'll talk about tomorrow. If people know that you treat their transaction as if it's yours, you're going to have the success. If you're willing to plant flowers on your listing as if it's literally your house, it's perfect. You just have to show a little care. It goes a long ways. What else?
Obviously, networking is
Big.
probably the biggest thing as far
Huge.
as developing your SOI.
Mhm.
Are there any tools or strategies that you use to network
Mhm.
to continue to build and develop relationships? And are there any other professions that you specifically target? Be like, oh, I need to go make as many.
Oh, that dang, Josh, that's good.
connections in these-
I've got anybody ever heard of BNI? Business? Yeah, yeah. So I was the president of a well, it's a competitor. It's called Biz to Biz. But I was president of a chapter for 3 years. We were like small. We had just started it kind of ourselves. There's only like 12 of us. Max was like 16 at one point. We felt like we were killing it. BNI was so hard for me because in that group specifically, I only generated maybe one deal, maybe two deals a year out of it. And it's an every week commitment, especially as president for 3 years. It was a lot of commitment. It's hard because a BNI kind of group, I think it's worth it. If you can get in something like that, it's phenomenal. The downside is you've got to be willing to be loyal to the group. And that's how you generate business. There's an insurance guy in there. There's a home inspector in there. There's a mortgage person in there. There is a, yeah, you got to move your home and auto insurance. You've got to like commit to being a part of the team and showing that you care. Then you can really start generating good business and love out of that. The downside is once you leave, the group will want to continue. So they will just put another real estate agent in, and you hope you don't lose it. But it's tough, but I love them. I mean, I feel like they're worth it because you can show again that you're growing. And it comes to networking for me, I spend, how do I word this? Okay. When I first started out in real estate, you guys ever made a call to somebody and you could tell they literally don't care that you're calling them? I'm not talking like a lead. I'm talking like a person. I want to meet you. You seem fascinating. I'm interested in understanding what you do for business. They might be successful in their business. They might have a ton of money or something. And you ever just feel like they didn't give you the time of day because they don't care? You don't have anything to give them? Dude, that is such a real thought and feeling to me. And then as I got busier in my life and a little too overwhelmed working national stuff alongside other things, I realized I was doing that. People would reach out for things and I would just kind of like, dude, I don't have time to talk about that. Like, I don't have time to deal with that. I don't think there's a right and wrong answer to that, because I physically did not have time. But at the same time, I was more successful in staying local and doing my thing because I would treasure every person that reached out to me. Every person had a value and they mattered. And I would spend, again, last week I spent probably 10 hours working on a rental for a friend. I'm not a property manager anymore. I legally don't have my license under that kind of stuff with Dean, so I can't collect a fee. I can't take rents. I can't negotiate contracts for him. But I can be there to soundboard ideas and support him. And he got through an eviction, so I went out there and helped him clean it. I sent him cleaners, plumbers, carpet cleaners, photographers for a new thing. All 4 of those people in my database just were fed from me, connecting them to a friend that's in need and needs help. And I fine-tuned why I called my Ammon and asked him for a plumbing check is I check my SOI's prices on a consistent basis. I don't tell them, so I don't want to offend them. I don't mean to offend people, but I don't ever want to fall into that relationship where they're like, Carl will always call me so I can charge, $1,000 extra for furnace. So I want to make sure I'm on top of, am I still getting the best deal? And do they treat my clients fair? And then when my clients close homes, I explain to them, if anything happens from your home from now, 20 years down the road, you call me. If your sewer line backs up, you better freaking call me. Because I've got restoration guys on standby. I've got friends that can get there. I had one friend that was like, we had a break in our pipe, just flooded our whole basement. It's the weekend. No restoration company was like able to hit it because there was like this weird flash. It wasn't like this recent flash flood. It was like this weird one that had happened a couple years ago. Funny thing is, I had become so close to that restoration company and sold the homes of the owners of it that they were like, go to our warehouse, pick up 2 fans, put them on the piece of paper that you took them. Go help out your friend. I carry in my truck a moisture reader, infrared camera, and I know what I'm doing with homes. So I went in, installed the fans right there for the guy, took out the moisture reader and the infrared camera. And with all fresh damage still on, I took pictures of all of it for him and showed him the readings because I spent 3 weeks shadowing a restoration guy to learn their industry. I wanted to understand it and learn it. So I would just call him and be like, anytime you have a big flood, can you just have me come watch? I want to know what to do. I sent all the pictures to the restoration guys and then let the homeowner know it's all documented. So if you don't want to have wet carpet for the whole weekend, feel free to tear it out now. Everything's already documented for you to show the insurance company, and it looks like a restoration company did it. So you could still file your claim, but get rid of all this crap so it doesn't keep damaging your home more. Easy, right? Called my buddy and I was like, good news, I work for you. He's like, dude, this is so freaking funny. It's like, you're insane. But it's like, you just learn how to do that and they're working that way. My kids, they struggle with this one. We fight over it. Anytime I can get tickets to games, obviously I try to let my kids go once or twice a year. I'm like, we'll go to the basketball games or football games together so they can have those good memories with their dad. But my wife, my kids, they understand that those tickets that I get are an asset to me. So I almost never use them for my family. It is for clients. It's for people that I know will mean a lot to them. So I'll call them and I'll say, hey, game's on me tonight. You want to go? And they're like, again, I could just pack my family in every single time. But what do I get from that? I'm like, you guys want to eat? You want to go to more games next year? Then we got to get some people to buy some houses, And that's how I keep regenerating that. So when it comes to networking and doing that, I do anything I can to network and bring anybody in my life.
In regards to you and your family, how do you structure that? Because I'm about to get married and she's.
Well, bro.
So I'm like, we're doing really good right now, but the obvious conversation of this is a commission job. Sometimes I'm a salesperson. I'm gonna have to make sacrifices and things like that. How do you have that conversation?
I feel like there are 2 types of relationships out there. And I don't know how the answer can fix it. Okay. I don't want to go on a big tangent on this. Okay. My wife is very unique. I'm a volunteer chaplain. That's what I do for like my give time. I also serve in the church that I like to attend. I serve on a city council supporting their roles. I try to do a ton. I am home every once in a while. 2 to 3 nights a week, I'm out till 2 a.m. and I'm not in a position where I'm home or doing anything. My wife and I had that conversation, and she gets that. She knows that's how my soul works, and she knows I can't sit still and I can't just be stuck. That's the easiest way to do that, is just talk through that together. I have friends that joke that, even their wives literally say to me, I can never be married to you, man. I'm like, well, I'm out of your league, bro. Bad jokes, right? But it's real. They want their spouse home. They like to have those close relationships. And my wife, she'll take every second we can have together. But she also gets it very much that I have a focus, and it is doing what I love to do. And what I love to do generates business and keeps the family flowing, keeps things rolling. So if I was to give solid advice, I just have that conversation up front and figure out what it is that she wants. Don't burn yourself out. It's the other problem. We talk about this sometimes. Last year, I pushed a little too much and had some seizures. Kind of went a little unconscious there for a while. Kind of had to get a little ambulance in there and resuscitate my life. It was a little intense. That's like a dramatic, too far. I went too far, okay? There's a spot in between there, though, for me. That's like, I'm on the verge because I work all night or day. I do things all day. But at the same time, like, how it flows. You just got to, yeah. You got some advice on that? No.
At a date night, go date breakfast.
That's awesome.
Last week we drove Alpine Loop, American Fork Canyon, went have lunch Midway, middle of the day, ate date lunch. I didn't know a couple of us, so we had date lunch. So we just had to adjust.
That's a great idea.
For that, because now I work nights and weekends. Saturday afternoon,
Yeah.
So school is free babysitting. It kind of, yeah, totally, yeah. All 3 of mine are in school, so we're like, oh yeah, we're going to lunch, day lunch.
I feel like,
Put on the calendar, right? We're lunch on Wednesday. Sometimes we fly another, double date. Sometimes it's just us. Yeah. So just had to adjust with it, and I remind them throughout. Hey, now that I work more nights, weekends, let's do day lunch.
yeah.
It's a gentle reminder of conversation here.
There's yeah, and there's like a strategic tactic to this. Okay, you don't want to be home a lot or not responding to things, because then your clients will go find somebody else. The current generation that's rising up, right? Gen Z is the latest that's coming into home buying positions now. They, like, my assistant, she works for me every single day. They didn't want to bother me on the weekend. They know I'm busy. So they just researched buying a home by themselves. And I'm literally like, what are you doing? They want information now. That's a problem. We're going to have to figure that out as a real estate society, how we combat that, because they want information now. And if you're not going to give it to them, they're going to call the list. And now with commission structure changes, they go show that house, you're out of commission. It's going to be very, very interesting to balance this. Okay. So I've made a deal with my wife and my kids. My phone is on me. It is always there. If I get a message and I'm in something personal, number one thing is just communication. Somebody messages me, we're on a date night, I literally just send a message. I'm on a date night right now with my wife. I don't want to be rude. This is important. I'm really excited. I saw your message. Can I reach back out to you in 1 hour, 2 hours, when our date's done? I've never had anybody say no. Yeah. No, that's exactly right.
Apologize. Saturday because absolutely, they were getting that I was, they're like, no, look,
You're turning them into a priority because you're answering. At the same time, you're still trying to maintain a life in balance. Now, you don't have kids, so hallelujah. Like, take your wife with you. My wife and I, literally on some of our date nights, we go to our houses with clients. But I work a lot of SOI, so they know her. I'll be like, she's coming. This is our date night. I hope you guys don't mind. No, do you guys want to go to? No, we need to help you guys get a home. The downside of real estate, right? While everybody's working, you usually can't get a hold of them. And then when everybody's home, they want to look at homes and get going on buying houses. So you have to work the odd hours, the weird hours. So yeah, we balance that. I spend time with her at night because people don't usually message at midnight. And then sometimes I have late starts to my day. I'll wake up, I'll make breakfast with the kids, we'll hang out, we'll have family time in the morning, like you were saying, breakfast dates. And then I get started on the day. So it's however you want to play with it. But conversations, fun, easy, hard. Go a couple months without making anything and put that stress on her and be like, you don't want this stress? I gotta work. That's a whole different crap level. That's a mess. When you can't bring money in, it's like, we want to eat. We got to do this. And if things always get bad in your first start, especially with how the market is and how things are shifting, it's not a bad thing to have a job. You can pick up a side gig, a side job. That side job can generate business for you because, again, you're going to think about real estate, talk about real estate, explain things, talk about what you do with your life. You're going to make friends. It's not just being like, hi, you met me, I'm going to start talking about houses. We become friends. We actually get to know each other. They get to know what I do. What was the other part? That was it. Okay. Cool, guys. Let me think of another thing. Hang on here. There's something we were saying, and I was like, oh, I'm going to teach you my secret. You can steal this. My clients have this strange belief that they think I don't sleep. And it's a tactful way I've done it. So if you steal this from me and you tell them about this, punch you in the throat. Not you, though. Just buff. All right. Before I go to bed, last night it was 2:20, something like that. I might send out a text message or two. Then when I wake up in the morning to like do that one-eyed pee, you know what I'm talking about, guys? You like stumble to the bathroom, you're like, oh, we'll drink way too much water. I'll still grab my phone and maybe shoot off a message or two every once in a while. Then when I actually wake up, boom, here I go. Text message people while I'm in my bed getting ready to get started on the day. Then throughout the day, throughout the night, message. And I just break it up. It's not every day like I do this, okay? When people see messages coming from you one day at 2 a.m., one day at 6 a.m., there is this belief in their head that you are always accessible. But in reality, I don't believe I'm actually more accessible than any other person. I just strategically plan messages. I write emails to respond to people. And in Gmail, there's literally a setting to say scheduled to send, and I'll send it like 6:23 in the morning. Yeah. So it's like a random time, so they don't know it's like a program thing. And I'll send it and I'll schedule it. And then people are just like, I don't know what to do. But they also, for some reason, get off your back when they think that you're working all the time. I don't know how to describe that. I learned this trick after years of doing this and went, if they just think that I'm working a lot, then they really, like, I can do the amount of work that I need to do. I'm not cutting corners, but it's not stressful to me because they're constantly trying to ask if I'm proving value to them of what I'm doing for them. Make sense? Yes.
And so if they
That's-
know you're not managing yourself,
Mhm.
they don't need.
Yep. It is as simple as open up so on the MLS, right? The best feature, nearby for sale. Find an area that they like, pick a new listing, anything, and just text that link to them. You just text a random house to somebody again at midnight. Sorry guys, I'm up late tonight. don't respond till tomorrow. Like, just was thinking about you guys. Dude, that goes, you do that once every 2 weeks, that person thinks that you're like the greatest agent that's ever walked the earth. You're always available for them. You text somebody communication wise, I am currently doing this. Like when I come into these things, I am going to teach a class. I will not be in touch with you till after 11:30. They know. And I just remember to follow up with them. And the other thing, my last piece to help with today's feelings and thoughts, I run habitually late to a lot of things. It's probably just take a lot too much to bite. So I just, whatever. I will never show up late or go somewhere late without a notice. So minutes before we even had this, Cameron Wilson already had a message on his phone that I plugged in my GPS and it told me I was arriving 4 minutes late here. And I felt bad about that. I was like, I thought I planned it right this time, whatever. He's going to get that message then. So he was already planning on me walking in late. He's not going to sit here and be like, what the heck? If I'm going to show home, I will literally text them. I am running 1 minute behind schedule, 2 minutes behind schedule. Whatever it is, I'm honest and upfront about it, and I send it to him. No problem. Thank you. Just over communicate. Helps in your lead generation a lot. Because, yeah, people just don't do that, you know? iPhone, share your ETA. That's sweet. Just be like, I'm dropping a pin to you. Here's my current location. You can follow me, get there. I'll share it for an hour. Yep. Yeah, just watch me make my way to you. I just try to over communicate. Sweet. Who else has something? Shall we call it? Thanks, everybody. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully, we learned some lead generation today.